Well, it's good, everybody. Welcome back to Timeless Travelers Tutorials. And in today's episode, we're going to be going over the item elevator. This is a very simple design. I'm sure you may have seen a few of these out there. This breaks down into three different components. We have our item input, we have the comparator clock or the battery, and then we have the bulk of the build, which is going to be our observer chain that sends all the items up. And if we just go ahead and throw some items into our input chest, we can go ahead and throw them in here, and you'll see that our comparator clock is already at work and it is sending all of our items up through the droppers. You may notice that there is a little bit of noise. That is because the dropper will make noise if it is not actively putting something in a container. So if we go ahead and put a container right here, it cancels out that noise. We don't have any sound, any clicky, and you'll notice that the chest is filling up. This could go for any tileable container, I believe. So furnace, blast furnace, chest, hoppers, shulkers, things like that. Just put one right at the very top of your elevator to eliminate all noise. So let's go ahead and get started on this build. So we're going to put down a solid block, place down a dropper right here. This is going to be your very first dropper. It's going to be designed differently from all the others. We're going to want to put a hopper in here, and then from here, you can do whatever you want. You can have a hopper line going in, item stream, minecart, whatever you want to do. I'm simply just going to put a chest here just for demonstration purposes. Next, you're going to want to put an observer, but we're going to want to face that way, so that way it is going to power this block. Okay. Go ahead and put your repeater down here on its default tick setting. Now that we have the observer down, you can place a comparator in subtract mode. Make sure you flick it one time, turn on that little torch, and then we're going to want to shift click right here and place a solid block right in front. Now you're going to want to come over to this side, place down solid blocks here, here, and here. Right here. And right here, we're going to go up by 2. Go ahead and you can break that. Now we're going to place a touch of redstone right here. Now we're going to boost that signal and place another dust right here. Now, what you'll find is if you want to test this out, you'll notice that we now have the clock active. So what we want to do from that point is, this is where the amount of resource really depends on you, because after you complete this section right here, that's when you start to build the elevator. Let's go ahead and get rid of those blocks real quick. So what we want to start off with is facing into this dust right here, you want to place an observer. All right. And silly me, I forgot a torch. So now you're going to want to alternate on this section of the build. Alternate between an observer and a torch. And it also really depends on if the height of your elevator is going to be odd or even. So for example, this is an odd height, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we would end with an observer. If it's going to be even, then you're going to, of course, end with a torch like so. But I'm going to come up here just a couple more just for demonstration purposes. Make sure you place down observer, torch, like so. Okay. Now you're going to want to place down your observers facing into each of these. The observers need to observe the updates to the torch tower and the observers, because that's what's going to power the elevator. And we power the elevator by putting solid blocks not here, but all the way up to the height of that observer. Then we're going to want to grab our droppers. And it actually doesn't matter what order you do this in. You could do the droppers first. You could do the solid blocks first. You could do these first, but it's going to be kind of difficult because it's easier to place these in if you're looking at the torch and the observer. So I would say do this one after this, unless you want to put temporary blocks down this line, but that's kind of doing extra work. So I would say do this one and then do this one. Other than that, you can do these two in whatever order you want. And that is pretty much it, everyone. You can place this is going to be your output. You can put a chest here. You can create some sort of hopper line going off into some random direction. We could just kind of set something up like this. Imagine this is going into like some sort of storage. You could put this in some sort of minecart system, shulker box loader, wherever you want it to go. Just remember that as long as you have a container to put here, shulker box, hopper, chest, that's what's going to make this thing silent. Otherwise, if it just shoots up into, say, a water stream, you're going to have that click. And it's really a preference if you want the click or not. It's going to be up to you on how you want that to look. So for those interested, let's talk about how this all works. So it's very, very simple. We have items going into this dropper, and the comparator is going to measure if a item is in here or not. If there is an item in here, it's going to measure and repeat that same signal strength. So it's going to be a signal strength of 1 because one item goes in before it gets sent up, right? So it's going to put a signal strength of 1 into this block, which is then going to power this. Because it's measuring, it's going to stay 1, and it's going to go through again, powering this block. It's going to get boosted by the repeater because repeaters can pull a signal from a block. It's going to boost that signal of 15, and then it's going to go into here. And because this is in subtract mode, we have 15 going into the side input. We have 1 going out of the main input. Now, when it's in subtract mode, it will subtract the side input from the main input. So 1 minus 15 is negative 14. Because negative numbers don't exist in the world of Minecraft, it has no way of displaying that other than simply powering off, or a signal strength of 0. So it reaches 0, but then it's getting powered again. So it repeats, and that's how we have a comparator clock. While that clock is firing off, powering this dust, powering this block, powers this repeater, the observer detects that update, powering this block, powering our first dropper, sending it into this dropper. So this is going to repeat the process, and if we don't have anything here, it's just going to fill up this dropper, and it's just nothing's going to happen. That's why we include this chain of observers with a bit of a torch tower and our solid blocks. So every time this goes off, our observer is going to detect that update. This observer is going to detect the update from here, powering this block, powering this dropper, sending it up. Then it's going to turn off this torch. This detects the update, powers this block, powers this dropper, sends it up. And it just repeats those processes over and over and over until there are no items left in the dropper. And that's going to be it today for Timeless Travelers tutorials, everyone. Thank you all again so much for watching. Of course, I am Timeless Traveler. I hope this video has helped you out. I try to keep it a short one for today. Let me know if this video worked out for you, if you learned anything new about item elevators, or if you just learned how to make an item elevator for the first time today. There are many other tutorials that you can take a look at if you so want. There is a full playlist that you can find down below in the description, and of course at the end card of this video for those that have stuck around for the duration of this tutorial. Other than that, I think that's everything for today. Thank you all again so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video.